2021 has been a roller coaster ride for me and so many people who are watching this video. Of course, it was not an easy year for most of us. But before the New Year Eve, I want to reflect on the 5 regrets that I want to account for. And I think this is a great way to start 2022 by learning from our mistakes in 2021. What are the top 5 regrets that I experienced this year? If I given a chance to go back in life, how can I fix it? If there was a time machine which would take me backwards, what are the top 5 things that I want to change this year? So I'm here just reflecting on mistakes that I made. If you have something better to do, if you are busy, if you want to find a productive video on YouTube, then just go ahead. There must be tons of those somewhere in the right side on your playlist. But if you click on this video, then probably you are just wondering how I'm accounting for the top 5 regrets of 2021 in my life, and probably how you can do the same thing. It might just take 5 minutes to close your eyes, think about the top 5 things that you regret in 2021. Because once we know, and once we realize, and once we accept the mistakes that we made, then only we can learn from it and get past it. So here are my top 5 regrets of 2021. So I thought, how should I look into my regrets? I should not account for those 3 blazers that I bought this winter and never wore, or I should not talk about the gym membership that I barely used. I should rather talk about things in a more broader perspective. It has to be more organized. If I want to remember it in 2022 and further years, then I have to find out one regret at each of the following levels. So I created 4 levels. First one is personal level, where I am accountable for whatever I did. It's my decision and I shouldn't have done that, stuff like that. Number 2 is financial level, like how can I make a wrong decision financially or career-wise, and what are the implications and what should I have not done, or how could I have avoided that regret. Number 3 is on fitness or health level. Fitness is again a global pandemic. It's bigger than COVID, just so you know. We all have our regrets in life when it comes to health and well-being. So I thought one should be right there in the center, in the core of it. And 4th one I thought should be at a family or at a social level with people around us, people who mean a lot to us. So this is how I created these 4 levels. So I thought, okay, let's bring out what are my worst regrets of 2021. So the number 1 regret for me and many other people who live away from their home is not being able to go home. And by home, like I live in Canada, this is my home. I live with my wife and my kid, and it's like the most beautiful place that I can call home ever. But still, I have tons of people back in India who I love to visit every year. And just unfortunately this year, I could not go back. I thought I would be able to travel back to India, but with dental school and with pandemic and so many things, that is one thing I regret a lot. And how could I have fixed it? There is no way I could have fixed it. I think I made a smart decision by not traveling during this pandemic time. It's good for me, others, and everybody's well-being. Otherwise, people like me who travel for no reason would be the people who are bringing the virus internationally to different countries where it doesn't belong, right? So avoiding non-essential travel is a good thing. So that's why I could not have fixed it. But yes, I regret it. I feel like I should have gone home. Also, we booked flights for Mexico for this winter vacation. I thought when we will go to Mexico in a resort, we will be like spending all that family time together. But then we had to cancel all our reservations as well as flight tickets. We got all the money back, so no regrets on that part. A good thing is we did spend a lot of family time while staying at home, because of course there is nothing happening outside much. All places are operating in limited capacity, so still we had a very good family time, which I was really looking forward to this winter break. My regret number 4 is going to be quitting a full-time teaching job at the community college. Yes, I did give up my job in August 2021, and since then I'm unemployed. I'm just studying at dental school in my 3rd year, but I'm not employed right now. And somehow I have this thing in my brain that if I do not work or make money, then I feel highly unproductive. I'm never a money-driven person. I really do not do things just for the sake of financial gain out of it. I think money gives me a sense of worth for anything I do. I think my teaching style is good. I have learned great things at the community college, and I felt like I belong to a community, and teaching is an amazing thing. It's so rewarding. By the end of the day, you are always like, you are exhausted, but you feel rewarded when you see your students getting graduated, or your students are hired by a new company and they got a new job. It is such a big reward. But I regret that I could not continue it. The reason is I wasn't able to balance teaching with my studies. And third year at dental school is all clinical, so I thought I should not do an injustice with my students by teaching and studying at the same time when I'm not able to cope up with it. So I had to resign from that job. Financially, it's a big setback for me. We were relying in some way on that income, but now that income is gone. So we are drawing more money from the line of credit or the education loan that I have. There is nothing much I could do about it or to avoid it. And the lesson I learned is actually try to focus on one thing at a time. Not two things at a time, which actually takes way too much attention from you, because I do have a family life, I do have friends, I do want to explore new places and do some activities. So it doesn't make sense if I spend the entire time working and studying. So I felt much more relaxed after giving up the job. I had a lot more time. I felt stressed out at many times when I have to do my homework, but I have to check like homework of 30 different students, and then I have to attend my lectures and write notes from it, while I have to give a lecture to my students and ask them to make notes out of it and test them on those notes. So it was quite a big juggle for me, and I was able to do it for some time. After that, it became a drag. I discontinued teaching. I can always go back. I'm hoping that I would go back. But that was my regret number 4 in financial or career wise. But otherwise, dentistry is working great for me. So I'm hoping that I would be a good dentist in Canada someday. My regret number 3 and regret number 2 both belong to my health and fitness level, as well as my mental health or my personal level. I was running a lot before the dental school time. I don't know how I used to get so much time, but I had a lot of time and I would run at least 3 to 4 times a week. I ran 10K race 2 years consecutively, and best part is I wasn't just running on streets, I was running on trails. So because of that drive, I would discover new trails. I would try to go to different trails. So that's why I gave myself like a couple hours of treat by driving to a certain place, then running there on that trail for like an hour or so, doing some stretching, meditation, and then come back. So that was a complete package, a complete treat for me whenever I had to go outside and run. But this year was so busy with school and everything that I could not manage to go to a lot of trails. I thought we adopted a puppy this year in March, and I thought this puppy is going to be somebody who would bring me back to trails. But on the other hand, after I had puppy, going to the trail went even further down, and practically there was no time for me after the schools and on the weekends when I could actually give myself 2 or 3 hours to go on a trail and have some fun. So number 3 regret is going to be not being able to run on the trails. If these are all excuses, then I think that in 2022 I would want to do a lot more of trail running and probably sign up for a couple races. That gives me a motivation to keep going and run a little bit more in 2022. On the list, regret number 2 is going to be not being able to bike to school very often. In 2020, somehow, I don't know how it worked for me, but throughout the fall term, I was biking to and from school, which was amazing. I created a vlog on how I bike from home all the way to Dalhousie University, where I study dentistry, and I thought it was highlight of my day. This is the perfect commute that could ever be, and I enjoyed every second of it. But then this year, I was driving more than I was biking, and I had to drop my daughter to school and my wife to her school, and then I would come to Dalhousie. So somehow practically did not make sense to bike at all. So my number 2 regret is not biking enough, or at least biking to school as a commuter. And how I plan to resolve this is next year I would start biking very often in summer, so that once the school year starts, I would try to continue that throughout the fall term, at least until the snow does not arrive in fall term, and I will try to make the best out of my bike. My top regret of 2021, which is absolutely heartbreaking and devastating for me in so many different levels, is giving up on my puppy. I did not exactly give up on the puppy. I have rehomed her to a friend and I could see her very often, but we got the puppy in March of this year, and it wasn't the right time, but I was just too impulsive and too emotional to just jump on adopting the puppy. And she was the most beautiful puppy ever, and we had a very good time with her throughout the winter and summer. But once the fall term started, I could not give her even 30 minutes a day, and she was alone. She was going crazy, and she became big. We did not know that she would be a 70-pound puppy when she's just 8 months old. Somebody said like she would end up being 90 or 100-pound puppy, which is not something my shoulders are prepared for. I felt like I'm a strong person, but the way she pulls me, in spite of any kind of easy walks, is a lot. Overall, we felt sad about the puppy, that she's left alone in the home all day. My wife, me, and my daughter, we would leave in the morning and we would come back at 5:30 or 6 p.m. after having some dinner, and the puppy would be home all day alone, which was not something good to the puppy's mental health. One of my friend who loved Sugar for a long time, she said like she would be so happy to take her home with her. She already have another puppy, and she spends a lot of time on trails as well as the off-leash dog parks. And somehow a very good, healthy agreement happened between us when she's going to take care of the puppy for most of the days, and that's going to help her with her mental health and everything. And that's helping the puppy big times already. So it is a big regret that I adopted the puppy, but I'm also proud of the decision that I made, that we would rehome the puppy, because it's not an easy decision. We were attached a lot, so rehoming the puppy was not an easy decision, and we are proud that we made that decision now. That's sad and out of my heart that yes, I regret adopting the puppy. I was not ready for it with school, with dental school and everything. That was also a big reason why I had to leave my teaching job, because I had to give so much time to the puppy that there was nothing left to do for other things. That's gone. I'm happy that I took these 5 regrets off my shoulders. For me, at a personal level, creating a video like this is a perfect way when I can document the regrets I have, and I would definitely work on it. I do not have any shame or frustration about it. I think it's just going to be a very good learning experience for me in future. And I would try to do everything which would make my 2022 an amazing year. So if you watch this entire video, I would also ask you to watch the next video, which is going to be the top 5 things that I'm proud of in 2021. The top 5 highlights, or top 5 accomplishments, or top 5 amazing things that I'm very happy about. I think like after all these 5 depressing things, maybe that video will cheer you up. So check out that video and let me know what are the top 5 regrets of your life. If you would like to share, just post it in the comment below. We all worry that if we share our regrets, our wrong decisions, our mistakes in front of everyone, then we would feel much weaker, or we would seem much weaker than we are. Do you think I feel weaker right now sharing all these weaknesses? No, I feel much more stronger after I shared this with you. If there are 5 things that you regret in 2021, bring it out, write it down so that you do not repeat those mistakes in 2022. Let's make 2022 an amazing year for you and me.